It's still spinning. It's going to play the intro first.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like life, I'll rise.
I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless.
Welcome to Black NewsBeat. I am your host, Dr. Kamika Campbell, and we're back with another great episode. And y'all, it is April Fool's Day, and honestly, it feels a little disrespectful. It does. It feels a little disrespectful because the country is already playing in our faces. It's also National Sourdough Bread Day. Who loves sourdough bread? I know I do. I've been seeing all your starters online, making sure that you're getting ready for bread season, as I like to call it. Spring to me is bread season. But I feel like it's fitting that it's sourdough because everything in America is rising except my salary and my piece. You understand what I'm saying? And since it is April 1st, we're also stepping into Black Women's History Month. I know, you're saying we had Black History Month in February. We have Women's History Month in March. Do you mean to tell me it's also Black Women's History Month? Yes, I do mean to tell you that. So let me say this at the top of the month. We honor the labor, brilliance, leadership, and legacy of Black women, past, present, and of course, future. So let's do a quick temperature check, especially because we have a great show today. We want to kind of set up the scene for you. The country feels tense, expensive, and one headline away from a public group panic attack. War is hanging over everything. Gas is back at $4 a gallon nationally, and in Pennsylvania, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, at $4.05. What? Did y'all see that? I filled up yesterday, and the gas station by my house was only $4, but still, $4.05 is such a high leap for me to do. So, how are y'all feeling about those gas prices, and how are you doing? So today we're getting into it. We're going to talk about war and gas prices, the markets popping off on hope, AI blackness being sold to Black people, Oracle cutting workers to chase the AI money, which is crazy, the 2020 census miscount and how that is impacting us, and our Harrisburg school closure and what that could look like for families across the city. And later, my guest, Amanda Robbins of Millersburg, is here, who says after voting for Trump 3 times, she's done and wants to say exactly why. But first, let's tweet these streets. Let's see what's going on around town and around the country. Well, it is April 1st, and I do feel like a fool because not us paying $4 at the pump for gas. What is going on? Well, what's going on is that the war is raging, and it is causing gas prices to rise rapidly. Okay, the Strait of Hormuz still closed. Iran and the Iran war, I think we're calling it a kerfuffle. No, an excursion. No, a fisticuffs. But it's not a war, or is it? We get a different answer every day. We don't know. Gas prices have crossed the $4 line again. AAA showed the U.S. average at $4.06. Pennsylvania is at $4.03. Harrisburg is at $4.05 as of April 1. That's today. Reuters and AP both tied the surge to the ongoing Iran war and disruptions in global energy supply. This matters because war doesn't just stay over there. That's what a lot of people think. They don't think the war is going to affect them. It shows up in your commute, in your grocery bill, your delivery costs. It costs money to get stuff to us in the form of gas. And what's even more interesting is diesel. Diesel is $6 right now. $6. We haven't seen diesel prices that high since several years ago. So the cost to get things to us, and you know what runs on diesel, right?
And wheelers, trains, all these other ways of getting things to us. The diesel is up twice what it was just a few months ago. So this is really impacting the logistics of getting things to your door. Those Amazon one-day deliveries that you like, okay, delivering things right to you from Instacart, all those things are going to be costing more because of gas, both your diesel and your regular gas. Analysts are already warning that if the conflict drags on, the hit to consumers gets worse. And this is what people mean when we say foreign policy is domestic policy. That's why it's so egregious. And we do love Rep. Clyburn from South Carolina when he said, well, I don't do foreign policy. Sir, that is your job. You must do foreign policy. All of our reps must do foreign policy. So the fact that we have people saying they don't do foreign policy is domestic policy. And we want our elected officials to get hip to that. And why aren't you? That's very weird. So markets had their biggest pop at the end of March on hopes that the war would ease. So on March 31st, stock markets surged after signs that the U.S. and Iran might be open to ending the conflict. But what's interesting is, as far as Iran was concerned, for a good 8 days, they were like, ain't no end to the conflict. Okay, we ain't having no talks. Okay, we gonna blow some more stuff up. Actually, as of yesterday, they had given us a deadline of 8 tonight. If we didn't stop messing with them, that they were going to start blowing up U.S. companies in the Middle East and bombing different companies like Google, like Apple. Like, that doesn't seem like the talks are going well to me, but I digress. The markets did trend upward yesterday. The Dow rose 1,125 points, and the S&P 500 gained 2.9%, and the NASDAQ jumped 3.8%. Reuters called it Wall Street's strongest single day since May 2025. That's interesting, to say the least. This matters because markets are basically telling us that investors think peace is profitable. Oh, who'd have thunk? And in prolonged war is expensive. Well, duh, right? That part's obvious. The problem is regular people do not get relief at the same speed as traders get optimism. So while they're like, oh, we're going to trade, we're going to jump back in this trading game, we're going to jump back out, they're playing hopscotch, jump back in. Folks are feeling it at the grocery store. Folks are feeling it at the pump. They're feeling it in their energy prices. All of these things are rapidly increasing. And you know what's not increasing? Wages. That's what's not increasing to pay for all of these things. And we're going to talk about wages really not increasing next. But this is my take here on this one. Wall Street may be going on, well, maybe the war's ending and starting to do cartwheels. But regular people heard maybe and still had to fill up the tank this morning. So speaking of wages not increasing at the rate of goods, Oracle lays off nearly 30,000 people in an email yesterday morning at 6 a.m. Now, why would they do that, you ask? Well, they're doing that because they want to invest in AI. Oracle has begun major layoffs as it ramps up AI spending. Reuters confirmed job cuts and a warn notice covering 491 Washington state workers, while others report that the total global cuts could be in the thousands and possibly as high as 10 to 30,000. Oracle has not publicly confirmed the 30,000 number, but reports say that workers were notified via email yesterday morning at 6 a.m. or internal memo, and the company is restructuring while aggressively investing in AI infrastructure. That, if you want to know what AI infrastructure means to you, it means the data centers in your community that a lot of us don't want there. This matters because this is the new corporate story. Cut labor, praise innovation, tell everyone that AI is the future, and expect the public not to notice who is paying for it. That's you and me and all of us with our higher costs and with the cutting of our jobs. A lot of folks are also saying this is a bellwether. This is what it's going to be like, right? For companies going forward. This is what folks have been afraid of for the last 3 years, that they were just going to slash jobs because of AI, but they thought it was because AI was going to replace jobs. What they didn't know is people are sinking money into AI infrastructure without a sure future. We don't know what AI is going to look like in the future. Folks are forecasting that the AI bubble is going to burst, because there's so much money being thrown down the drain without real returns, right? So when is that going to happen? And is it smart to cut 30,000 people from your worldwide workforce without a sure bet on AI? Those are the questions we got to ask. Whenever a company says it's investing in AI, ask who got laid off to fund the dream, because honey, it's a pipe dream right now. This next story is very interesting because Representative Comer is currently saying that the 2020 census was biased against Republicans. Do you remember the census? Do you remember the census during COVID? Do you remember trying to get counted during COVID, how difficult that was? It was a mess. People were home, but they weren't answering their doors. And the state of the world, the state of the city that we live in, the municipalities we live in, the county, the country looked very different. The world looked very different. So the Census Bureau found that the 2020 census undercounted Black people, Hispanic or Latino people, and American Indian and Alaskan Native people living on reservations, while overcounting non-Hispanic, white, and Asian populations. Color me surprised. Official estimates put the undercount at 3.3% for Black folks, almost 5% for Latino folks, and AIN on reservations were undercounted at 5.6%, the highest of all the undercounting. Sorry, my computer did what it always does, which is mess up in the middle. So why does that matter? Because census numbers shape political representation, Black folks, Hispanic folks, and Native folks can be harmed with undercounting. It also shapes redistricting. It also shapes the flow of federal money. If communities are undercounted, they can be underfunded and underrepresented for a full decade after the counting, which is terrifying. Think about the types of money that flows to your neighborhood right now from federal dollars. We're talking community development funds. We're talking money for seniors, money for healthcare, money for all these different things. If you are undercounted in your community, if your neighbor is undercounted, people say, well, I wasn't undercounted, I'm fine. No, but if you live in a neighborhood where people are undercounted, you are directly affected. So that's something to think about. So what is verifiable is that the count was not equally wrong across groups. That is a fact. The question of bias is partly interpretation, but experts and reporting at the time pointed to a mix of longstanding, hard-to-count patterns, pandemic interruptions, and Trump-era efforts to add a citizenship question and shorten the count, all of which raise concerns about suppressing participation in vulnerable communities. Now, what I find this interesting is this. Representative Comer said that the count was biased for Republicans, but it was Latino, Hispanic, and Native populations that were undercounted. So I'm not sure where he got that, but he was saying that places like Texas and Tennessee and other places, they should have gotten more seats. But does more seats equal more Republican seats? I don't know about that in this climate, but that's what he says. He's saying that the 2020 miscount affected the 2022 midterms. So my take is, if the error keeps landing on the same people, okay, the same communities, the same population, folks are not wrong to ask the hard questions about the system. And it doesn't look like they're trying to upgrade their systems to do better either in 2026 or 2030. So let's see what happens. And now for a local story that has really been definitely talking about the rumbles in the community are actually growing louder. Harrisburg middle school closures could shake families across the city. The Harrisburg School District had a public meeting on March the 31st about proposed closures tied to its reconfiguration plan. The schools at issue are Marshall Mather Science Academy and Roland Academy. Reports say Roland has already been partially phased out as a middle school, and community concern is rising over what closures could mean for students and neighborhoods. One of the big issues is Roland, also known as the zoo. Folks don't want to have that school closed, even though it has had huge disruptions in behavior and curriculum and all these different things over the years. And they're also nervous about putting students from one neighborhood into other schools in other neighborhoods. And also the walkability of having schools in your neighborhood for both for both Marshall and for Roland. So folks are very, very concerned about students being able to walk to school, be able to get to school quickly without having to go across the city to get there. So that's something that parents are very concerned about, and students are as well. So school closures are never just about buildings. It affects routines, transportation, safety, school identity, and whether families feel heard by the district. One commenter online, one parent in the district said, you know, we tried this 20 years ago. We tried to collapse the schools together, and it was an epic failure. And what happened was utter disruption, utter chaos, and the building actually got torn down and was sold subsequently after that. So we want to take this seriously. We want to listen to our communities. The school board is set to vote on it at their next meeting. So when communities say a school closure will rock the neighborhood, that's not drama. That's local knowledge, and people do know what they're talking about. It's happened before. This last story, as we move into media and melanin, dun, 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 is not about the movies this week. It's not about TV shows. It's about how media is being used to influence Black business support. Let's take a look at what we're talking about right now. Awesome. So this story is very interesting. Creators are sounding the alarm about the rise of AI-generated avatars and fake Black-facing brand marketing being used to push products online, especially on social media. The broad trend is real. Reporting from Forbes, Teen Vogue, and The Guardian has all pointed to the growth of AI-generated Black influencers, digital blackface, and synthetic Black personas being used to profit and to get engagement. Let's take a look at this clip because this looks crazy.
So apparently Chinese-owned companies are creating fake Black entrepreneurs to sell fake Black-owned products, and they're using AI to do it.
Everyone told me nobody would buy an elephant purse from a Black woman. I made every one of these with my hands.
This is not a real person. Here's another one.
I design leather cowboy hats.
Wait, are you serious? You design hats?
Every detail. I pick the leather, choose the hardware, design the whole look. Like this one right here. I designed this.
Oh, wow, that is beautiful.
This is AI. Again, this is not a real person. I did the research. These people do not have a name. They do not exist. This is AI. The worst part is when I see these videos, I look in the comments and I see very conscious Black supporters who are saying they're going to buy it, or some saying they already bought it. They have no idea that they've been conned.
Y'all, this is crazy. I looked at that video and I was like, I know it's AI, but I know so many, but I would have got caught at first glance too, because it looks real. But when you hear the cadence, and there's things you need to look for. When you hear the cadence, when you hear people are talking, one question you should ask is, colloquially, where Black folks are, do they talk like that? And the answer is no. Black folks do not talk in this stilted, weird fashion. That's number one. Number two, think about the emotional play that is playing on you. Everybody said that nobody would buy elephant purses from a Black woman. That's not a thing that Black women are doing in videos like that. That's not a thing. If you look at the culture of Black influencers and Black entrepreneurs online, this is not how they're talking. And it sticks out like a sore thumb if you know what you're looking for. This matters because this is bigger than AI is weird. This is intentional manipulation of the Black dollar. But it also goes to talk about how important the Black dollar is to worldwide economies, okay? $1 trillion is $1 trillion no matter how you slice it. This is about people using fake Black faces, fake Black voices, and fake Black cultural cues to build trust, sell products, and cash in on loyalty that should be going to actual Black creators and actual Black-owned businesses. Research has also found that race presentation can shape how people respond to avatars and chatbots, which helps explain why Black-coded AI can be used strategically in marketing, and also why there's a lot more Black AI avatars that are being used to sell all kinds of people different products, because people see Black folks as trustworthy in society. No matter what they say about them, they still see them as trustworthy in that society. So now Blackness is getting drop shipped too, which is weird. Not just our slang, not just our music, not just our style, but our literal image. And that should bother everyone, because if people can manufacture a fake Black brand ambassador in seconds, they can also manufacture fake trust in Black communities just as fast. Have you seen one of these fake AI Black brand ads online and immediately felt like something is off? Let me know. I would love to hear about that. And this has been Sweeping the Streets, and we will be right back after a short break with all the upcoming events that are happening in the region. See you in a sec.
I served in the Air Force for 23 years. I was proud to stand for my country. But I'm not going to stand for what Congressman Scott Perry is doing in Washington. He's forgotten about us. Perry voted to cut health care that veterans rely on. That's just not right. We deserve our health care, and Congressman Perry is trying to take it away to give more tax cuts to billionaires. That's just cruel. I'm an independent. I care about issues that impact veterans. I wish Congressman Perry would stand with us.
We have a lot coming up in Harrisburg region. I'm going to talk about events today from today, April 1st to the 18th. So please jump in, do something, this week. People always tell me there's nothing to do in Harrisburg. There's always something to do in Harrisburg, starting with right here in Hall Manor, The Resource Fair and Easter celebration is happening today from 3 to 5. You should definitely be on the lookout for that. Head down there, Hall Manor Field, 101 Hall Manor Place in Harrisburg. We also have the Pitch It To Me Masterclass hosted by Black La Cultura and Culture and Commerce co-working space right here in the Strawberry Square area at 5:30 to 7 p.m. Please support Culture & Co. They're at 19.5 North 4th Street, and they have amazing events there. This Pitch It To Me Masterclass will help you get ready to pitch your business and get funding and do other things and get support for what you're doing. We also have a 15th and Vernon community engagement session hosted by the city of Harrisburg. It's going to be at Hamilton Health Center. I don't know if you guys saw some of the news about the park and how it was damaged and how there's thousands of dollars worth of damage. So they're having a community session on that tonight at Hamilton Health Center. You can stop by that as well if you're interested in knowing what that project is going to look like and how that's shaping up in the community. We have a prayer breakfast hosted by IMC of Greater Harrisburg on Saturday. This whole weekend, like Saturday, I'm about to do 4 Saturday events. Boom, boom, boom. So we have a prayer breakfast hosted by IMC of Greater Harrisburg, the 49th annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King prayer breakfast. What an accomplishment. 49 years. It's going to be at Best Western, 800 East Park Drive in Harrisburg. Men's Outreach Breakfast hosted by Gospel Fellowship Church, 10 a.m. at 1635 North 7th Street. Also on Saturday is the HBG Flea. This is one of my favorite things to pop into. The HBG Flea has such great stuff. It's going to be 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Strawberry Square at 303 Walnut Street, not far from where I'm sitting right now. I'm at 223 Walnut Street, so literally a block away. You should definitely check out the Flea. Really great finds for really cheap, especially in this economy, okay? And also on Saturday in the evening, do you like improv? Do you like to see people do cool, funny things? You should come to the Improvapalooza 26, dun dun dun, hosted by the Harrisburg Improv Theater, TMI Improv, and the Oxymorons, featuring the Improvabilities. 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, April 4th is when the bar opens, and I think I'm going to be right in line for a drink to get ready for doors at 7:30 to enjoy this great improv night. If you've never been to an improv event at the Harrisburg Improv Theater, it is so fun. The Improvabilities are so fun. So you definitely should come and check that out. It gets very interactive with the audience. It's super cool. So please come and check that out. And then on April 12th, we're going a little further out. We have Shades of Honey Gala hosted by Beehive Affordable Housing. That's going to be at 3 p.m. And then we have the second annual Community Fun Day on April the 18th, hosted by your local thriving community in support of Christian Churches United, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the 18th at Old Liberty Square on Jonestown Road in Lower Paxton Township. And every Tuesday, we have Topics Tuesday at 19.5 North 4th Street at Culture & Co. We have a really good time. We talk about all these upcoming current events, upcoming things. We work out how we're feeling as a community. You should definitely join us any Tuesday. We're always there. And further out, we are celebrating Juneteenth HBG 2026. And I want to stop for a second and give a huge shout out to the mayor of Harrisburg, Mayor Wanda Williams, for agreeing to do a second annual parade for Juneteenth. We are so excited. We sat down with the team. We are so excited about the parade on June the 20th. And we're going to be hosting our entire Juneteenth week from June the 14th to the 20th. It is also YPOC's 10th anniversary. So we're going to be having a reception. You are invited, and you are invited, and you are invited, and you are invited to come hang out with us. It's going to be a great week. And you please follow the YPOC.org page and also our Facebook pages. We're on all socials to keep up with that. We're on Instagram, YPOC HBG. We're on Facebook, YPOC HBG. And we're on Threads, YPOC HBG. I think the only place we're not on is TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere. So please join us. We would love to see you at Juneteenth. And I can't wait. Woo! Well, look at us. We made it through the first half of the show. Woo! Now we are getting ready for our very, very excellent guest coming up. Give us a few moments. We'll be right back with Miss Amanda Robbins.
Tonight in Harrisburg, the young professionals of color are honoring Black History Month by looking ahead.
Fox 43's Melina Brown has more on the event focused on Black History Month and Harrisburg's future Juneteenth festivities.
We all got blood in our veins.
In a room filled with community leaders, families, and young people, the future.
I am Little Miss Black, Pennsylvania Junior.
And the foundation of Harrisburg stood side by side.
I am the Juneteenth concert chair, as well as YPOC board, and founder and CEO of Power Choice Productions.
The young professionals of color hosted the event to honor Black History Month, with a special focus on the city's upcoming Juneteenth celebrations. Organizers say it's about more than just planning a festival, it's about celebrating the culture.
Music, art, storytelling, fashion, community, entrepreneurship.
Part of Thursday night's event was the focus on connection. People listened to stories, music, and art, while community leaders encouraged the next generation to take ownership of their future.
Black history is important to me because it's about my origins, and I feel like everybody should go out and learn more about Juneteenth. And I feel like that it's important that everybody learns about what happened back then.
The event highlighted the week-long festivities happening in Harrisburg for Juneteenth, including a parade and a concert open to all.
It's a very diversified experience. In a sense, there's not just one genre of individuals. You have older, you have younger. It's family-oriented, it's educational, it's fun.
Organizers say events like these help bridge the gap between generations and continue to be a space where history isn't just remembered, but lived, shared, and passed down.
It's a great way for us to be able to just celebrate the uniqueness that we share, and where we can have pride in the things that we do, and to give hope and to just stimulate our people with joy, innovation, creativity, and fun. And you know we like to have a good time, so come to the cookout.
Yeah, everybody should probably come out here and, see about Juneteenth.
Milena Brown, Fox 43 News.
Welcome back to the Black News Beat. And boy, do we have a treat for you today. Okay. My guest today is Amanda Robbins of Millersburg, Pennsylvania, which is actually in Dauphin County, if you didn't know. So about 35 minutes from here. And a whole lot of people know her right now because she went viral after posting a blunt message about Donald Trump, regret, and what she feels she got wrong. Now, whether you agree with her or not, the reason this moment landed is because people are frustrated. War is escalating. Prices are high. And folks are asking themselves whether the political choices they made actually brought any more stability or just more chaos. Take a look at this clip.
If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You're a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
Well, harsh words for yourself. I want to welcome my guest, Amanda Robbins, to the show. Hi.
Hello. I wasn't sure if I was on yet.
Yeah, you're on. I was trying to fix my volume. Sorry. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Welcome to the Black News Beat. Thank you for being here. So this clip was raw and direct. Why do you feel like you had to say that out loud? And why did you call yourself an idiot? What about Trump, or was that about Trump, or was that about you feeling ignored and feeling different than you did before?
Definitely feeling ignored.
Yeah.
I said it because I truly believe that Trump was the only one that was not owned.
And we talked about this a little bit before, and you said that got cut out of the clip.
That got cut out right before I said, apparently I'm an idiot. I said I assumed Trump was the only one that wasn't owned due to him stating that he's going to end the corruption. That's my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot for believing he's the only one that's not owned. They kind of cut that out, but that's kind of an important part of the message.
An important part of the message. Yeah.
Definitely ignored. He did nothing he said he was going to do. Let's see, my electric has doubled in the last couple months. I can barely afford groceries and gas, let alone paying my bills in my house, which is all the bills. Nothing comes included.
That's right. So we got rent,
water, trash, sewer, electric, and then my kids they love video games, so gotta have their internet.
You might as well have owned the house if you're gonna pay for all that out separate too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So for people just meeting you, what was going through your mind when you did that interview?
A lot. You caught me off a 3-day trip. When they first walked up to me and asked if they could ask me a few questions, my first thought was like, well, yeah, I can get it out there. I can get how most people are feeling. They're just too afraid to say it. Me personally, I don't care. I'm going to tell you the truth. That facts over feelings is how I go. I just, we need this country to thrive. And that's not going to happen with the politicians that we have now. No Democrat, no Republican. Like, it isn't about sides. It's about good versus evil.
And some people say that they are two wings of the same bird.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And you said you voted for Trump 3 times, 3 separate times. Looking back now, what do you feel like you missed then that you can clearly see now?
Goes back to him being owned. The way he spoke about how he wanted to fix everything, get everybody out of the system, like the head of the FBI coming down to end corruption. Everyone in the Epstein files are going on trials, this and that. Nothing happened.
Nothing at all.
He's just as owned and just as corrupt as the rest of them. And I really, truly believed he was the only one that was different due to what he was saying. He definitely had me fooled.
And there's right now, there's a sentiment on the right, conservatives, MAGA, that there's a split. So we have Tucker Carlson, we have Megyn Kelly, we have Candace Owens, we have several other folks who are now saying, Joe Rogan, who are now saying, wait a minute, Joe Kent, who was on Tucker Carlson, who defected from leadership in this administration, they are all now saying, wait a minute, you said no more wars, you said no new wars, and now here we are in a skirmish.
In a brand new war that he started.
Out of nowhere, too, like out of nowhere.
Well, I don't believe anything is out of nowhere. I believe everything is planned, definitely by the government and by Israel. Everything that happens is definitely planned. I just, like, why are we sticking our noses where it don't belong? Why are we putting our soldiers at risk for things that we shouldn't even be a part of?
Absolutely.
It's not our war.
It's really not.
It's really not.
Like, if Israel wanted to attack them on their own, okay.
That's on them. How does that, like, why is that? Why do we have to send our soldiers into a brand new war that Trump started?
Literally did.
Literally. Everyone on TikTok is saying, no, he didn't. No, yes, he did. He 100% did.
Well, anyway, now that TikTok is owned by Palantir, which is an American company, they're gonna definitely be sounding very different than TikTok was maybe like 3 months ago. So,
really?
Yes. So
that's news to me. I did not know that.
Yes, it's American owned now, and they immediately started switching the narrative. Everybody's algorithm looks different. Algorithms that we literally build brick by brick with the videos that we watch and the people that we wanted to support are being dismantled right before our very eyes. It's very, so anyway, back to, but so what, was there a breaking point for you? I'd like to know, or was it a buildup of things? Because you seem like you were sure by the time you got to this video. So was it a buildup for you, or was it a breaking point over things like prices and stability and the direction of the country?
It was everything just building up.
Yeah.
And then Trump was on stage speaking. He got a phone call from the president of Israel.
Yes.
He was talking about ending corruption actually before that phone call. And then he got that phone call, left the stage, came back, completely different person. Completely different. Talking about nothing really, just a whole bunch of gibberish. But right before that phone call, he was literally talking about dismantling the FBI and sending the criminals to jail, which clearly he needs to put himself there too.
Clearly.
Yes.
Clearly.
He just came back a totally different person. And that was it.
Yeah.
I was done.
Wow.
I was like, I voted for
this man. It was in real time.
Real
watching
time.
That switch up.
Yes.
That did that for you.
Yes,
Wow.
it did.
So now that we are at war, Even though we're not calling it a war, we're calling it 5 different things every day.
It's a damn war.
But also a war. I don't know. So right now, as the war dominates the headlines, what worries you most as an everyday person?
Honestly, the prices.
Yeah.
You know, we're struggling. We haven't had a struggle like this in many years.
Wow.
And now, like, deciding whether or not to put gas in the car to go to work to make money, or to put half the rent on, or put like $100 towards groceries, which is only going to get you 2-3 meals now because the prices are skyrocketed. If you are not rich or well off, you will not survive in this economy. You can't, especially if you're a single person.
And you're a single mom.
Yes.
Tell us about your family.
I have 3 boys. 19, 18, and 14.
Wow.
Yes, who eat a lot. Hence, to go back to the grocery prices there. Okay, growing boys eat a lot. Like, I have my 14-year-old who won't eat for 2 days, and then after that, he literally eats 6 double cheeseburgers at a time.
Is he watching? Did you hear what she said about that?
He is watching. You do eat like a pig sometimes.
She said you eat all the burgers, and it's not nice.
Okay. Not nice. I would like some too.
And when you look at gas prices, groceries, and just basic living costs, do you feel like things have gotten more affordable or less affordable under this leadership that you once supported?
Way less affordable. Wow. Way less. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Biden administration,
but prices were supposed to go down on day one.
Day one, yes.
And you're right.
In which, obviously, I didn't expect that. Who would expect that? Obviously, you have to save on energy and like go through the hoops to save this, to save that, blah, blah, blah. But he's done none of it. And my electric bill tripled.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Wait.
Go back. Listen. Tripled since, like, what's the time frame? Because that's
let's see,
crazy.
The last 6 months, I believe it went from 80 to I'm paying like 340, 346 now. Yeah, using the same amount, like same thing, video games, the heat. Like, thank God we switched from gas heat to electric, because the gas prices.
Let me tell you the gas prices. My gas bill in the month of March, my heat is on. I have about a 2,500 foot square house.
Yeah,
square foot house. Thank you. The heat was on 63. I checked it the other day because I'm like, am I going crazy? $420. $420 for my gas bill.
No.
Yep.
That is insane.
It's going up all over the place.
That brings me back to nobody, unless you are rich or well off, is going to be able to survive unless something changes.
Is up. I'm like, how is my water bill consistently over $150?
My water bill went from $120. Now I have 5 people in the house.
Yeah.
Okay. So $120 every 3 months. It is now $390. And now if you pay it past because they do give you like a couple weeks past the due date, which you have to pay like an extra $40, which I normally have to because like
you're trying to.
Yeah. Normally I don't have the full amount to pay it, or just paying a little on it. So regardless, it goes past that due date. So regardless, I'm paying the extra. No matter what I do, because I cannot afford to pay $390 up front.
That's crazy. That is a lot of money up front.
For water?
Yeah, for water.
Water.
And they're trying to take all this water and feed it into data centers.
Yes.
I don't know what's going to happen when these data centers are flooding Dauphin County. And we both live in Dauphin County because it's coming. There's proposals all over for this.
It's very close.
I'm nervous about what that's going to look like because the prices are already up.
Not just nervous. I'm scared. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
When you think about like the economy, the prices, not knowing what, like, you just want to break down and cry.
Because what can you do?
What can I do? What can I do to help my family? You can only work so much. I personally have a broken back. I can only do so much. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Tell me. So I didn't know if you wanted to bring that up. So tell me about your injury and how you came to be with this condition of the broken back.
It's called spondylolisthesis.
Spondylolisthesis. Spondylolisthesis.
Yes.
Wow.
That's the name. It basically, my spine is decaying. I was in a car accident in 2014, which basically shoved that about 40 years ahead of time.
What?
Yes.
So you had a condition, got in a car accident, and it sped up the condition.
Yes.
40 years?
Yep. I'm going in for my 5th back surgery coming in August. What's happening is, for some reason, they took the bone from the first surgery instead of using conduit. Don't ask why, I don't know. But because they did that, they caused the upper spine to decay way faster. So eventually I'll have to have rods and plates all up my back. It's called a fusion, to fuse the bones to get back together.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So you got in a car accident, it started spreading up, and then what happened after that?
I stopped working. My surgeon won't sign off. I'm a liability. Apparently, if anything were to happen, it could come back on him. I guess I could sue him or whatever.
For work?
Yeah, if I went to work and hurt my back more.
Did you go back to work after your car accident?
Yes.
Mhm.
I actually went back after the second surgery too.
Wow.
It wasn't till I fell and broke all the screws and rods about 2 years later.
So wait a minute. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So you find out you have a condition, or did you get in the car accident and then find out you had the condition, and you find out the condition and you got in a car accident?
Car accident first.
Got it. Oh, then so you didn't even know you had.
I had no idea that I had anything wrong with my spine, because I was doing gymnastics, hip hop dance, ballet. Like, I used to be able to bend in half, literally. So no, I had no idea of me having spondylolisthesis
Until you got in a car accident?
until they told me after the car accident.
And then you said you re-injured yourself.
And then 2 years later, I slipped and broke all the screws, rods, and plate. And then the screws were stuck in my, the one screw was stuck in my sciatica nerve, which is like the one that causes that sharp shooting pain and burning down your leg, which is 24/7 for me. That doesn't go away. That's a 24. They took a huge chunk about this big out of that nerve because the screw was intertwined for 4 years.
This is giving me a headache. And
Yeah,
I don't even have
it's a
anything
lot,
wrong.
right?
What
It
in the
is
world?
a lot.
So you hurt yourself at work.
Yes.
And then what happened?
And then I had another surgery, and then I haven't been back to work in the last like 6 years. And my surgeon won't sign back off for me to go actual work. So I mean, I have a friend that pays me to do dishes and some laundry.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he lets me sit, stand, and lay as I need, because obviously with
Right.
all that going on, my legs get heavy, like heavy to the point where I can't move them. There's no walking or getting out of bed if I do too much.
And you're 36.
I'm
This is already
36. I've
happening
been
too.
dealing with this since 24.
Jesus.
It's a lot. And back then, I didn't really have to worry about it. Life was affordable. My fiance, he's had a good job ever since we've been together, mind you. Worked, got paid decently. I mean, not like richly, but decently.
Decent.
Our bills were paid, and we had a little left over. We used to take vacations and go to see his brother in North Carolina once or twice every summer. We haven't been on a vacation in the last 2.5, 3 years.
Wow.
In this economy, you can't.
You can't. And so, how are you managing medically, like with insurance and medications?
Well, I used to not have a copay
Yeah.
or to pay anything, but now I have a copay to go to my pain management doctor, to a surgeon. If I have to
wow.
have surgery, it's a $500 copay before the surgery.
So you can't even get the surgery.
Yeah, no, I'm supposed to. There's no way I'm going to do another surgery. Wow. That's a lot of money. Well, this is the first time I'll have to
Pay out of pocket.
Out of pocket. And clearly I can't afford that if I can't afford my gas and groceries and rent,
Right.
So I will suffer medically
This is
because of Trump. I will now suffer.
And you know what's so hard about this is, like, people aren't asking to be there. There are people who have so much money. We have enough money to send for Congress to be seriously considering sending $200 billion more for this skirmish, fisticuffs war, whatever they're calling it today, but not for people to have health care.
Exactly.
Not for people like you to have back surgery.
Listen to me. If Congress, if you make over $1 million, say a year or whatever, we wouldn't have homeless if these people would just help.
Yeah,
There'd be
that's it, and that's all.
no homeless, no hungry.
No, we wouldn't have any
But
of
yet
that.
we're gonna send. Did you say 200 billion?
Billion.
Billion?
Billion with a B.
to a different country for a war that
is
has
benefiting
nothing
us
to
at all.
do with us.
That is not benefiting us. As far as I can see, he's not benefiting. It's setting our gas prices up. It's setting the cost of goods up.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one suffering. There are thousands of Americans out there suffering right now while they're just sending billions of dollars to a war that shouldn't even have anything to do with us.
Nothing at all.
How insane is that?
Yeah.
Like nobody finds that crazy, backwards,
Exactly.
wrong.
Exactly. And do you feel like regular people are always the ones stuck paying for these political decisions, whether it's at the gas pump, at the grocery stores, or just in like daily stress?
Oh, honey, it's the regular people that keep the world going
That's
around.
right.
Like it's a regular person that is scanning your groceries. It's a regular person working at the convenience store you're getting gas at. Like they're not well off. They're not rich. You know, if it wasn't for us regular people, the world wouldn't spin.
Absolutely right. The world wouldn't go around. And this is why I have a huge problem with people who have billions and want more. I have a problem with that.
I don't know. They live way outside their means.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
100%.
Nobody needs $100,000 car, guys.
There's not a reason.
Nobody needs a $5 million mansion.
Yeah.
Like think about you selling that home and splitting that money. Half the states would have no homeless or hungry.
Yeah, absolutely right.
But you're sitting there with your painted stained windows and your red carpet walkways.
Red carpet walkways is crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Insane.
Absolutely ridiculous. So some people hear you say that you regret your vote and regret your support. And they say, well, what did you expect? Right? What did you expect from somebody who, in my view, he lied a lot. He told a whole bunch of lies. And in his first term, he did not fulfill a lot of his promises, and people wanted to give him time.
Well, I would expect what I expect from any politician.
Yeah.
What they said that they were going to do. I want the people from the Epstein files charged.
Yeah.
I want my gas to go back to, I'll be happy with $3 a gallon, guys.
100%.
I'll just be happy with that.
100%.
You know, I want my eggs to go back down to $1.50 a dozen.
And not $6,
It's
$7.
not what, $7.99?
Which
for
is
12,
crazy.
I think? For eggs.
Eggs.
Like
eggs is wild.
You literally need to own something
Yeah.
in this world or you're going nowhere.
Yeah, going nowhere. And it's
Because you're working to try to pay your bills.
Absolutely right. And so what do you say to the people who say to you, well, what did you expect? What do you say to them? Because they're looking at you like, duh, like this man's a liar.
Well, every politician is a liar.
Fact.
Everyone in the government is a liar. What I expected the corruption to end. I expected the energy bills to go down.
Yeah.
I expected him to do what the heck he was saying that he was going to do. Yeah. Just like the rest of them. None of them have been doing anything that they said that they were going to do. Once again, whether you're Democratic or Republican,
two wings, same bird.
Same bird. All right.
So what would you say to other Trump voters who may just be disappointed, embarrassed, or scared to admit that they were wrong?
Speak up. It's okay to be wrong. There's no shame in being wrong. Everybody in the world has been wrong about something. Stop caring what other people think. You know? Like, do you live your life to your fullest? Yeah.
I love that. And do you think some people are still defending all of this because they are scared to admit that they were wrong, and being wrong feels harder than admitting it? And just admitting that you were wrong feels harder than dealing with the consequences?
I really do believe it's them just not wanting to admit that they're wrong. For some reason, that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And obviously, I have no problems admitting I'm wrong
which is very rare. A lot of us have.
Well, I've never understood, like, who cares if you were wrong?
And who does it benefit for you to keep
pretending that, oh, I'm right. You know, I was right. No, we were all wrong. All Trump supporters were wrong. You know, so wrong.
And when you think about your political future now, what are you looking for that you were not looking for before?
Care.
Yeah.
I know that the government isn't supposed to care. Like,
the government is supposed to care. It's
to
literally a representative government. Like,
that is true. They are supposed to care. I want to see that.
Absolutely.
They say we want to benefit Americans. We want to do this for Americans, that for Americans. But they do nothing for Americans. Nothing. They don't show they care. They don't give back. All they do is take. They take without giving anything back to us.
Would you vote for Trump again?
No. Hell no. Honestly, I don't even know if I will vote again.
Yeah, and that's really scary.
Will it matter?
That's the question.
Will it matter?
That's the question.
Because
a lot of people are asking that question.
To me, it feels like it doesn't matter who you vote for. Who's going to win is going to win. Whoever Israel wants to win will win. It does not matter.
Now I'm going to say voting matters. Voting matters.
Yes.
I want us to vote.
Yes. Make sure you vote.
However, but I understand.
I just meant like Republican, Democratic, it does not matter.
And then we have people here at the local level like Scott Perry who are supporting these really bad policies from Trump. And that is what I don't think people know. Like Trump doesn't get as far as he gets if representatives like Scott Perry aren't voting against the interests of people in our county.
I would love to see like people like Scott Perry, Pan Bondi come out and admit,
oh my God, they're never going to do it.
They're wrong. You guys were wrong. Trump was wrong.
Yeah.
Like we were all wrong for believing that man cared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was really good at pretending he cared. If you actually did your research, yes, I know the news like picks apart like their speeches and gives you the worst part and blah blah blah. So their narrative is met. Okay, but that's not always the case.
Absolutely.
You got to do the research, watch the full video yourself,
Yeah.
and don't just go by what other people tell you.
Absolutely.
He did show that he cared by saying the corruption's going to end, the electricity will be going down, this and that. That was pretending to care.
Yeah.
My mistake for believing it.
Yeah.
Because he was the only one who said what he said
Yeah.
about it all. So I really, truly believed he was the only one that was going to make a change. Because he didn't grow up in politics, you know. He's just a,
And that's what a lot of people say.
Well, I mean, he was given $1 billion.
He was
and
given
then
a lot of $1 billion.
He made it to $1 billion. I mean, which is a huge accomplishment. He may have failed, but I mean, he got back up, you know, and tried again. That's what you do. Not saying he's not a pile of crap, because he is. I'm just, you know.
She's like, lest we forget. I really appreciate this conversation because I don't get a lot of honest conversations from folks who, so the only other person I've ever heard talk about like this is actually one of my now close friends, Dr. Mike Eric Dyson. He's the author and everything, and he said, you know, when you meet Trump, he's really personable and he's really nice. And he's really smart.
I've heard that.
And people do get sucked into this stuff, but we can't forget that, you know, he does lie. And he lies very smoothly to people and makes them believe things.
Very good at pretending.
Very much pulls you in and then does something different, does whatever he wants, does things that benefit him.
Instead of Americans.
Instead of Americans, especially as
which that's what our government is for.
That's what literally what the government's for. Like literally to represent it. It is a democratic republic because it represents. We are sending these people there to manage, you know, our and it's at every level like that. Our borough councils and city council and municipal councils, our county commissioners, our state government, at every single level, they are supposed to be representing the people. That's the point of the story.
Exactly. We the people matter.
That's right.
We the people should come together and make a change because that's the only way it's going to happen.
It's really the only way it's
Our
gonna happen.
government keeps us apart on purpose so they can do whatever the hell they want.
Apparently. It looks like that to me.
And it's working because people believe propaganda.
Absolutely do. And it's very scary to see how like both all sides, I'm going to say both, because we have all kinds of different parties in this country. We have all kinds of different issues, but people generally believe people, one, who look like them, and two, who are saying things that sound believable.
Yes.
Right? Like a lot of people believed that Joe Biden I believed he had some kind of better motive for not explicitly telling Israel no. It started with him. He should have told Israel no.
Yes.
When
yes, he should have.
They should have cut off. They have the opportunity
They couldn't, though.
to cut off those weapons going to Israel.
Yeah. Well, yes, they definitely could have cut the weapons
Maybe
off.
they couldn't say no in other regards because it would mess up their Middle Eastern expansion project and the influence they have there. But you could have threatened them a little bit more with, listen, if you don't stop, we're not sending you these fancy weapons you like. We're not gonna send it to you. So nobody along the way has told Israel flat out no, except like the UK and like other folks. Like, we're not doing that. We're not doing it. Like, we're not coming to save y'all. The UK and France, these countries are like, no, we're not getting involved in this war.
As we should have done.
Literally should have done.
Again, it's sticking our noses where it doesn't belong.
For reasons unclear, actually, because I don't see how this ends. I don't see how this war ends furthering even American aims in the Middle East. That's what I don't understand. So
it's a good point.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how it
that
ends.
That is a good question. How is this war going to end?
And how does it end? Is it more American lives? Is it more Americans maimed? They hid from us initially the amount of people that had to get sent to Germany to literally get patched up because they had gotten hurt with the bombings all over the Middle East in the first 10 days of the war.
Yeah.
So like, how does this end? Is it now we have thousands of troops over there now to do what? I thought we weren't doing a ground game. What's happening?
Exactly. So why are we sending thousands of our own soldiers to literally in harm's way? We're literally putting them in harm's way for no reason, though. There's no good reason.
Like, this is worse than like I think so you're 36, but I'm 45, and I will be 45 in 24 days. My birthday's on April 25th. Okay, but I remember weapons of mass destruction. I remember the war in Iraq. I remember the Operation Desert Storm.
Yep.
I remember us saying that they had weapons of mass destruction, only to be like, no weapons. They didn't have any. Why were we there? And I feel like I'm living in a time loop almost, because why are we in Iran? Why are we here?
Who can we go to get these damn answers?
Nobody right now, because they're not going to tell us.
Because they're all just lying and beating around the bush on the media and the news.
They keep saying, well, Iran has capabilities to have nuclear. So do we. If Iran was to come over here and do what we did to Iran, if Iran was to come and do what we have done, wouldn't that be how would you react if somebody came and bombed your house and killed your mom and then was like, that's because you might hurt me one day? Which is essentially what they're saying.
That's exactly what they're saying.
You might hurt me one day.
This might happen, so I'm going to harm you now.
It doesn't even make sense.
I mean, come on, make that make sense.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So anyway, we could talk about this all day.
Right, I really could.
But I want to say thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
I hope you come back.
Me. Oh, I will be back.
And we're going to clip this up and get you some reels and stuff, because I think you said so many really interesting and good and great things today and really gave insight to people. Because I don't think folks understand, one, we're still having the conversation in the community about why people voted for Trump. And I think you laid out why. I also think it's really important to do this kind of self-reflection that you have done, where you're like, these are the reasons why, but I see that this was not the case.
Correct.
Like that sequence, people are not doing. And I think they're not doing it because of all the reasons we talked about, but also just straight up fear. What does it mean for me if the person I voted for does not have my best interest at heart? What does it mean for me if the person I voted for is just disregarding all of us?
It means you made a mistake, and it's okay. Mistakes happen. You're human.
Yeah,
I've made plenty. I'm sure you've made plenty of mistakes yourself.
I've made plenty of mistakes.
It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah. And I think it's hard it's hard for people to even get there. So I just want to say kudos on that. Kudos on getting there. Kudos on being brave, especially as a woman in this climate. Like, I don't know if you've gotten any backlash for what you said.
Honestly, no, I can't even find myself, but it's fine.
Oh, because you didn't even know you were viral.
No, I didn't even know I was viral.
You were like on Colbert. You were like on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Yeah,
you were
apparently.
Like on the Daily Show.
Yeah, I had no idea.
And then I'm telling you, you're viral last weekend, and you were like, "What? What is that even?"
I don't even know what that meant. I have social. I take selfies, guys. I post selfies. Yeah. That's what I do on social media.
That's about it. Right.
That's about it.
Right. So I'm just glad that you were able to tell this story, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And like, I think, I don't know, we're gonna have you back, but thank you for being honest. Because whether people agree with you or not, there are a lot of folks right now who are taking a harder look at what they voted for, or I think they know they need to, and they're probably avoiding it. So we want to encourage y'all. If you are trying to take a harder look, you have an example here of how to do that. You have somebody who's taken that harder look, who has changed their mind. And it's also just okay to change your mind. It's okay.
It really is.
It's okay to change your mind. Because we do need to look at, who we vote for, what that costs and who actually pays the price, like not just what it costs, but who's actually paying for that. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you for having me, letting me tell my story. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
It's my pleasure, my honor to have you here. And we're almost done here. So we will be right back with Last Lap. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll be right back in a few secs. See you later.
I built my coffee shop from the ground up. Every penny counts. So these tariffs are creating chaos. Coffee beans are imported. I can't afford to pay the tariffs out of pocket. These tariffs have the potential to destroy my business. But Congressman Scott Perry supported the tariffs. They're another tax driving up costs on small businesses like mine to give tax cuts to big corporations and billionaires. Scott Perry should be looking out for small businesses instead of big corporations. I wish Scott Perry was looking out for us.
Okay. Do you see my water? Because I was thirsty. Y'all, this was a show. Woo! I'm so thankful that Amanda came because I really wanted to showcase for y'all just how much people are having regrets and we don't talk about it enough. And, you know, we see and I'm part of that discourse too online because people are really nasty online. And so people are like, I am 10 toes down for this disaster that we're experiencing. And we're like, why the hell would you say that? And so having this more of a nuanced conversation was really important for me too, as a person. So I just want to say thank you again. Once again, thank you to Amanda for that. But before we go, here's the last lap. Today really came down to something simple. Bad political choices have real costs for all of us. You can call it policy, you can call it leadership, you can call it ideology. But regular people feel it as gas prices, grocery bills, stress, instability, and the sick feeling that someone else made a reckless decision and now you're stuck paying for it. And that is part of why Amanda's clip hit so hard. Not because regret is rare, because honesty is rare. That's why. And a whole lot of people are looking around right now at the war, at the economy, at the cost of living, and quietly asking themselves whether they got played. Because I know some of us feel that way. This is not weakness, right? This is recognition and recalibration, because all of us have to do that. And maybe the country would be in a better place if more people were willing to tell the truth about what they voted for, what it produced, and who it hurt. And that's all of us. It's hurting so many of us in this country. And as we enter Black Women's History Month, let's be clear. Black women have always been asked to carry the truth, carry families, carry movements, and carry this country on our backs. The least this country could do is listen when Black women tell the truth about what time it is. And honey, it's time to re-examine your vote, re-examine your stance, because it affects all of us. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Dr. Kamiki Campbell, and this has been the Black News Beat. See you next week.